Holy thunder, what a beautiful day it is today. Hello, Rotarians, friends, guests, ambassadors, and dignitaries, and welcome to the Rotary Club of York. We bring you a program today filled with music, service, politics, and even baseball, all under 60 minutes. Not bad. Not to mention yours truly, President-elect Aaron Jacobs, filling in for President Glenn Miller while he's on vacation, or as he has told me, he's letting me test drive the club unsupervised on my learner's permit. Please take a moment to silence your devices. In case you were wondering, and you probably were, we had some wonderful music. That was our violinist, Anna Metellus, and she generously provided the music while we had our fellowship and lunch today. Anne was born in Haiti and began playing the violin at a very young age. She studied with the Haitian Orchestra Institute and was also a member of the Orchestra Philharmonic Sainte Trinite, which, as I'm told, is the greatest orchestra in Haiti. She was invited to stay in the USA in 2021 with the TPS program and has been taking English classes at the York County Literacy Council. She also volunteers there, translating French Haitian Creole for those from her native country. If you enjoyed what you heard and you'd like to hear more, she will be the featured artist at the York Literacy's upcoming Celebrate Success event. See Rotarians Matt Smith or Bobby Ann DeLeo for more information. On with the program, the opening song and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Leanne Wilson, followed by the invocation by past District Governor Dick Brown and visitor introductions from Judd Lando. Leanne.
His test drive is making sure we get this right because he lined us up over here. But please, please join me in God Bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we all pray in the way we are each accustomed. O God, our creator and sustainer, we thank you for this opportunity to gather as Rotarians, friends, and concerned citizens. We thank you for public servants who seek to provide appropriate governance to a very diverse populace with very different expectations, resources, and vested interests. May we, as serving Rotarians, do our part to support their efforts through meaningful dialogue and input, by working in positive ways to help solve problems, and by earnestly seeking to return effectiveness and respect to our political process. We thank you for the food which has been prepared for us today, and we ask for your help in bringing true and lasting peace and contentment to our communities, our country, and throughout the world. Amen.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm pleased to have the honor of introducing our guests for today's meeting. When I call your name, please stand, remain standing until President-elect Aaron has welcomed you. Visiting Rotarian, Rob Gallagher, Lancaster Club. Ann Metellus, guest of Bobby Ann DeLeo. Marlena Schutt of the Fundraising Committee. Suli Pinos, Fundraising Committee. Rebecca Countess, guest of Frank Countess. Sydney Kessler Appel, guest of Frank Countess. Perla Lopez, guest of Michael Blum. Tatiana Montanez Baez, guest of Michael Blum. Daniel Farias, guest of Michael Blum. Jack Dyson, guest of Larry Richardson. And Rosemary Joseph, guest of Bobby Andaleo. President-elect Aaron?
Thank you, Judd. Guests, thank you for joining us today. We always delight in making new friends, and we hope you feel welcomed, engaged while enjoying our program today. Rotarians, please help me in welcoming our guests. On to announcements. The Rotary Club of York Board of Directors will meet tomorrow, 8 a.m. via Zoom. The IDEA Committee will meet on April 17th at 8 a.m., also via Zoom. And the Youth Exchange Committee will meet on April 20th at 12 p.m. via Zoom, Zoom being the sign of our times. Thank you for those who've already contributed to our Turkey earthquake relief efforts. We continue to welcome donations to match the $5,000 pledge from the Charitable Endowment Fund. Directions to donate are in the announcer, or you may contact our Executive Director, Lynn Morrison. The deadline for the donation ends at the end of April. The Membership Committee would like to congratulate two outstanding Rotarians, Bill Anstein and Mark Woodbury, on their anniversary as members of the Rotary Club of York for 56 and 54 years. Wow. I didn't know they let you join when you were 10 years old back then, but there we go. Rotarians, let's give a round of applause for these outstanding members. And moving forward, we have an off-site meeting coming up to remind you of. We will be at the York Revolution on April 26th. You have to register in advance to attend this event. There are little slips of paper on your table that have QR codes to make sign up a lot easier. Or you can use the link found in the announcer. Space is limited, so register soon. Speaking of baseball, we are graced today with the president of the Rotary Club of Lancaster, Rob Gallagher. And he's going to come to the podium to do nothing but share kind words about our club, the York community, and the greatest baseball team ever, the York Revolution. And I would ask, as he approaches the stage, that if you think you hear him say something that sounds like a joke, just either politely laugh with him or even at him, because he's going to talk about their local Bad News Bear team. It is the storm burners. I think it's storm chasers. Okay. Yeah. President Rob.
So good afternoon, everybody. I'm actually the immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Lancaster. I was actually the past president of the Rotary Club of Longwood, which meets at Longwood Gardens about 20 years ago. And so I've been around Rotary since I was 22 years old. And I have to say, every single meeting, whether there's 300 members or 10, there's the same air in the room, an air of giving, of people who are up to something. So it's my honor and privilege to be here with you today. I'm actually here fulfilling on past President Jackie Summers' brilliant idea last year that she hatched. I think it was even before our presidential years started, before we knew about Delta and Omicron. What a great time. Anyway, so Jackie said, we should do something that's ongoing that allows us to get our two great clubs together in a way that we can share some camaraderie together. So I thought, what a brilliant idea. She said, well, why don't we just switch? You come to the Revolution this year, then next year you can invite us to the Barnstormers, and that'd be fantastic. So we did that, and we came to Revolution. We had the best time on the way to York because when we got to the game, it turns out that the Barnstormers sent all of their best tennis players, and it was fantastic. I spent 6 months working on my trash talk, and there wasn't a single I didn't think they caught the ball once. I don't know how the game ended because we finally just left, right? So I'll tell you, it seemed like a shorter drive over here to York because it took forever to get home after that game, but we had the best time with you guys. And so I'm actually here to fulfill on past President Jackie's vision to invite the Rotary Club of York to join us at the Barnstormers. It's going to be, now the way that their schedules work out is a little insane, right? So brace yourself. It's May 3rd. It's 3 weeks away, right? But you know what's great? We're Rotarians. We can do almost anything. You ever notice that? So the way it is, we're gonna have a skybox similar to that you all did last year for us. There's gonna be dinner included in it. I'm actually working on a way to get the cost down, but for right now, it's $40 a person. And we would love to have you come join us. Game starts at 6:30. I think they let people in around 5:30 if you really want to see people warming up and all. But it will be a fantastic time. So I was supposed to do a little trash talk to get Rob up here, but I think I'm good. So I really hope that we see you all at the game on the 3rd. Thank you.
You'll be seeing it. Hold on now, wait. Oh, I'm so shocked. It's Eric Menzer from the Revolution.
That sounded very polite, but we know that there is barnstormer malice in his heart. And so we're not going to just let him issue us a polite invitation to maybe show up. So I'm here to challenge us, York Rotarians, to not only show up, but to show up in force. I would like nothing more than for the Barnstormer Rotarians to show up that night and have no room in that box that they have reserved. And in fact, this will be your first opportunity to see your York Revolution team on the field because we don't actually open at home until 2 nights later. So please, let's show the Barnstormers what Revolution fans from York are made of. Let's show up on May 3rd. I assume the details of this, Lynn, are coming by email. So please be watching for that. Please join me. Thanks, guys.
Lynn, was that the program? I'm not sure. Moving on, I'd like to invite Jen May and her sidekick, Calvin Wary, the Robin to her Batman, to talk about IDEA. I love you so much. I just love you.
Where is President Glenn? So Jen said that I had to do the talking. As most of you know, I generally do my talking in song. So here's I'm not gonna say. But what I'm gonna tell you about is an event that I have been to and been a part of many of the 17 years it's been running. This is the Race Against Racism. The one thing I've never done, I've run the music, I've performed at it, I've cheered on my kids, I've never run in it. As you can tell, I'm more of a lifter than a runner. But Jen, who's told me she runs very slowly, has talked me into doing it, and I'm hoping to talk some of you into doing the same thing. It is coming up on April 29th, and if you're not a runner, you can come and cheer us on. If you have a defibrillator, please bring that also, as I've been known to sometimes take a little nap after a run. The YWCA is running this. Go to ywca.org so that you can sign up. It's cheap and it is a wonderful organization. It's a wonderful way to back our folks up and talk about who we are as a people. We've been working really hard with the IDEA to open our minds up and open up our hearts and our Rotary, and we hope to see you there. And I will say this, it's not very often that I run. But since I have to get to training, since the 29th is coming up, I'm going to go right through that door. Are you ready, Rotarians at home? This is going to be the fastest thing you've ever seen.
Scale the steps.
This is also, I'm trying out for the Barnstormers. You ready? I expect to see you there on the 29th. Let me get on your mark. Get set. Go.
I thought it was bad when we were throwing baseballs in here. Best Rotary Club ever. Well, I tell you what, let's put you back in your comfort zone. I want to invite back one of our great past presidents, Jackie Summers, to talk about the Legacy Committee. Jackie. Yeah.
Yeah, I love baseball. It's unfortunate that baseballs don't love me, though. As you well know, we'll never live that down, will we? Ah. I don't know. What was worse? What you just saw or my baseball? I don't know. Would have been really cool if you had a baseball when he ran out the door. Anyway, the Legacy Society was formed to enable Rotarians to make bequests or create name funds in their estate plan to ensure the Rotary projects that Rotarians are passionate about will thrive in perpetuity. In 2006, Rotary Club member and chair of the Youth Exchange Committee, Michael Ucolano, died tragically in an automobile accident. He was 50 years old. Mike was a man of strong faith. He was a successful businessman, a beloved husband and father. He had a passion for music, especially playing the drums. He was an avid runner and golfer, and he enjoyed picnics and sports cars. Mike was active in the community, serving on boards of directors of several nonprofits. And while he often served in leadership roles, he never sought the limelight and was content to quietly support others. He was always quick with a smile. He had fun. He loved life to the fullest, and he made you feel good just being around him. His sudden death struck a deep chord with our membership, and the members of the Youth Exchange Committee at the time asked the Rotary Board of Directors to consider creating an endowed fund to be named in memory of Mike. With board approval, then President Dan Walderstorff asked all members of the Rotary Club of York to make a gift in memory of Mike to be directed to the Youth Exchange Committee for inbound and outbound exchange students. Youth Exchange committed their unused budget money that first year for the fund for the first gift. And then members and the club committed to raise $40,000 that first year. In 2008, then President Mike King named the Michael Ucolano Fund for Youth Exchange as the beneficiary of the Love for Community Fall fundraising event, which brought in more than $48,000 for the fund. Michelle Baker followed Mike King as president, and she too named the Ucolano Fund as the beneficiary of the fall event. By the end of 2009, it was up to nearly $129,000. In 2010, the first Youth Exchange Scholarship was awarded to Shavania Corbett Johnson from York Country Day School, who did her exchange study in France. The experience had a tremendous impact on her life, and she continues to stay connected with our club. And in fact, she was here with us just a few weeks ago. Most recently, the Charitable Endowment Fund Board voted to provide a scholarship to Maxwell McCormick to study in the Czech Republic this next school year. Through the years, the fund has provided the opportunity for dozens of students here and abroad to take part in this year-long life-changing experience. Today, the Michael Ucolano Fund for Youth Exchange is valued at nearly $205,000. I think Mike would have been pleased to know that this fund, created in his memory and fostered by our club membership, continues to impact the lives of young people here and around the world, leaving a lasting legacy for generations to come. Joining the Legacy Society is as simple as including York Rotary Charitable Endowment Fund as a beneficiary in your estate plan. Completing a York Rotary letter of instruction allows you to simply let us know how to carry out your legacy. And again, you can create an endowed fund, or you can make an undesignated gift to be applied toward the greatest need. Bequests may be created by will or trust, or by beneficiary designation of your retirement or life insurance. So for more information, please contact any one of the illustrious members of the Legacy Committee, chaired by Steve Feldman, and including Charitable Endowment Fund Board Chair and past President Brian Tate, past President Bob Davis, past President Al Sykes, Chad Myers, President Glenn Miller, or you can contact Executive Director Lynn Morrison. Thank you for your consideration and making a commitment to ensure the impact of Rotary well into the future.
Thank you, past President Jackie. I personally am a big supporter of the Legacy Committee. I think it's a great way to show that you are a true Rotarian, not only today, but that you're an outstanding true Rotarian even in the beyond. So that's wonderful. Lynn asked me to share a message with you that if President Glenn asks, it was a perfectly normal meeting and nothing was strange about it. And because of that, I'd like to now invite Mike King to talk about Give Local York. And after he's done, he will do a triple somersault off one of the tables. Mike, I hope you're ready.
No triple somersaults are on the agenda. But I am here to make an announcement about Give Local York, the campaign that is about to start this year. Each year, our club participates in Give Local York in that initiative for various local projects. This year, our Give Local York goal is to double the amount of money and impact that the club will have through our Rotary Grants program. 100% of all member contributions to Give Local York this year will be matched by a fund set up by the Charitable Endowment Fund Board up to the amount of $20,000. So that gives us, effectively gives us $40,000 worth of impact for our community for 2023. This year's grant purposes align with the Rotary International's focus on economic development, specifically growing local economies through education and empowerment and promoting peace and social justice with an emphasis on gun violence, a problem as to which we were reminded earlier this week. The grants are in the amounts from $2,500 to $10,000 and will be awarded in June to deserving local organizations working to address these issues. So 100% of your gift through Give Local York to the Rotary Club will be used to make a meaningful difference in York County this year. Specific goals are to reduce gun violence in the city of York, promote peaceful dialogue and address community divides, offer job training to underemployed and unemployed residents, and help low-income families achieve financial security. So again, just to review, your help, your gift will help double the impact of what our club can do through these grants. You can make your contribution in two ways. You can contribute to Rotary Club of York on May 5th, which is sort of the official Give Local York Day. And that's at www.givelocalyork.org, pretty easy to remember. Or you can contact Lynn at lmorrison@yorkrotary.org to make a pledge by May 3rd, and then send in your check by May 20. So that's my part of this. And now it's my privilege to introduce Sully Pennis to tell us about the impact that the York Rotary grants made in 2022, what was able to be accomplished in that regard. Sully?
All right. I have to be careful here. I feel like I'm just gonna also fall towards the door. But good afternoon, everyone. As Mike said, my name is Sully Pinos. I am the Executive Director of our Bloom Business Empowerment Center with the York County Economic Alliance. And thank you so much. I like magic. Just to share a few notes, thank you so much to the Rotary Grant Committee. Last year, we were a fortunate recipient to help us pilot our hospitality training program, an unmet need in the community to help train individuals seeking employment and training opportunities in this growing skill. These courses were offered in Spanish and English over the span of 2 weeks at Crispus Attucks, available for all York County residents, but also high school students 16 years of age and up. And the training programs that were offered were curriculum based directly from the American Hotel and Lodging Educational Institution. So through these programs, and we'll go into the next slide, through these programs where we offered dinner and childcare, again, all at a local community center, the individuals were able to select a course from kitchen cook to guest attendant to guest services lots of different areas and focuses in the hospitality sector. And at the end of each course that were offered and facilitated by team members from the GF Management and the Hilton and the Yorktown Hotel team, these individuals were able to then take a test, and if they passed, they were fortunate to receive a certificate of completion, but a nationally accredited certificate that stayed with them, whether they choose to go into the hospitality sector or just continue to grow their career path here in York County. And we're incredibly proud that over the span of 2 weeks for the courses, just some of the data points there, we welcomed over 53 participants all in the evening. Again, classes offered in Spanish and English. It was about a 50-50 spread of individuals that came from the city of York as well as the county. And over just shy of 70% of the participants were female, and certainly over 70% of the participants identified as individuals of color. And again, it was one of the focus points for us to be able to offer this in Spanish as well as in English. And over 100 certificates achieved. Individuals could take all 6 classes if they would like, and really rack up all these certificates to build their resume and their career. So we're fortunate and thankful that these individuals took the time to invest in themselves, but also invest in this program. And then just some of the testimonials from the program. After everyone graduated, they were connected throughout the process with the Yorktown Hotel and certainly anyone else in the hospitality space to connect them with hiring and employment opportunities. Last year, we hosted about 3 hiring fairs at now Wellspan Park, and the Yorktown Hotel was one of the participating companies there, so an opportunity for those individuals to connect with them. So just feedback from one of the participants. In the picture here, you have Leah and Yogasta. They are both students at William Penn Senior High School, both students in the YCOS program. And to the right of, in the white shirt holding the paper, that is Leah's mother, who also took the classes, and they were able to achieve their certificates. And again, an opportunity that would not have been possible without the support of this grant. And then just quickly on the last slide, I will do a quick shout out to 2 of our guests here joining us, Tatiana and Perla, if you could please stand. These 2 wonderful individuals participated in the hospitality training course. Oh, you guys can stay standing. These 2 wonderful individuals participated in the hospitality course. I think Tatiana had the record of like most certificates achieved through the classes. But after they both graduated and completed the program, both have now been working at the Yorktown Hotel and with the team of Michael and Daniel in the food and banquet. So this you'll be seeing in a few weeks. This is our digital copy. Our printed Downtown Ink magazine will hit the shelves and your mailboxes soon, and just highlighting this great program that, again, would not have been possible without the support of this grant program, but also an opportunity to highlight 2 amazing individuals in the community. So thank you.
Thank you, Sully and past President Mike. And I saw in the fine print that Rotary Club of York was mentioned in that. So we appreciate having the partnership in this service to our community. Getting ready here for the program, I was boasting to Rob from the Lancaster Club how empirically supreme this club is and all the amazing things we do. And I think we lived up to that promise. But not only that, not only can we have this wonderful spring day, but only the Rotary Club of York can make not only 1, but 2 summers on one spring day. We first heard from past President Jackie and now past President Mike Summers to introduce our program. Mike.
President-elect Aaron. All right. Just a quick program note. The program committee will be meeting at the end of May. So please get your ideas and suggestions into us. We will happily review them all, and we will come up with a great program to go from there. Our speaker today is Mayor Michael Helfrich, who is a native of York County and has lived in York City since 2001. When he began his organized efforts to improve our waterways and help the people and communities who are affected by pollution. He was elected to York City Council in 2011 as a write-in, and over 1,000 voters made the extra civic effort to enter his name on the ballot. He was elected mayor in 2017 as a registered Democrat running on a Republican ticket. after he received support in the primary from Republicans who had no representation on the ballot. Mayor Helfrich was reelected in 2021 as a registered Democrat on Democratic ticket. He does not care for the two-party system and represents himself as a fiscal conservative and a social liberal. He is more interested in working with anyone who can help solve problems, that he is a D or an R, or who is either a D or an R. He loves history, music, people, and the outdoors, and most of all, he loves spending time with his daughter, Lily. Mayor Helfrich will share the progress that's being made in York City and the plans that are coming to fruition as our city continues to move forward. He will address the city's finances, safety, social issues, and economic development strategies, and the mayor will also share what he hopes to accomplish during his remaining term in office. Fellow Rotarians and guests, please warmly welcome Mayor Michael Helfrich.
Thank you, Mike. You didn't tell me I could do an SNL skit instead of giving a speech here today. I don't know if I can follow Chris Farley, but good afternoon, everyone. Again, thank you for having me here. This past year has provided the city of York with nearly unprecedented financial stability. The sale of the York City wastewater treatment plant has allowed the city to pay off or escrow funds to close all outstanding debts of the city of York. The net after these debts have been accounted, sorry, I don't normally read speeches. This is why. I like to just free flow, but I thought I'd give you something a little more organized than my thought patterns. The net after these debts have been accounted for was approximately $170 million, which was put into an investment account to help alleviate the burden of the city's pension and healthcare liabilities that amount to over $220 million. This does not mean that the city is flush with cash, as one of York's newspapers erroneously reported. What it does do is put York City in the position of earning dividends off of investments of this capital, providing a source of revenue that the city has not had in decades. These dividends will be used to offset the ever-growing expenses of healthcare and pensions. When I say ever-growing, I mean uncontrolled growth of expenses that are very difficult to control from the city's side. Some of you may have experienced this in your own businesses if you provide healthcare. For example, the city's healthcare costs alone have gone up approximately 1,000% since the year 2000, while the value of the properties that are taxed to pay for this expense have not even grown 100%. Efforts have been made to increase employer contributions, but in a unionized city, this is a very slow process. The city's redevelopment authority continues to work to increase the tax base. Projects at the Northwest Triangle and at the historic bank in the square are gaining momentum. Work at the bank has already commenced and the plans are amazing. Mike, we got to see some more plans in person, Mike Black. Just last night we got a tour and I'm telling you, amazing. You're all gonna be blown away. Groundbreaking for a mixed residential and commercial complex is expected this year in the Northwest Triangle after about 20 years of working on that project. Foursquare, Anthony and Fred, is working with philanthropists to invest in our aging housing stock and promoting home ownership by working directly with potential homeowners, assisting with financial education and credit building. The city is investing in a new community facility at the Sylvia Newcomb Center in the Northeast neighborhood to house our entire Bureau of Health staff, a York City police outpost, and a recreational facility for the community. Recently, a proposal has been brought to me to reactivate the Princess Street Center on the west side of York to provide computer training, as well as reopen the center for community purposes such as youth recreation. The Vonnie Grimes Gym in the center of York is fully activated with boxing, basketball, and youth programs filling the schedule. Additionally, facilities and improvements are completed and more planned for our park system. We have completed park enhancements at Memorial Park, Hudson, Little Jimmy's, and Girard Parks. We will be completing improvements at Williams Park and installing additional solar lighting in Penn Park around play structures and seating areas this year. We are working with CRDC Global to provide new basketball courts and benches near Hannah-Penn School, including CRDC's Resonate concrete and asphalt additive made from reused plastic waste from right here in York. We hope to incorporate this product into many of our future community improvements. We're in the preliminary phases of designing an improved Bance Park, as well as a new park at Thaxton Homes 2, a reimagined Thaxton Park. In case any of you were paying attention, about 10 years ago, we traded the old Thaxton Park for room for new housing there on College Avenue. Now, finally, we're getting to a place where we can rebuild another park dedicated to the great teacher, Helen Thaxton. Of course, you know of the amazing work we have done together to bring back Kiwanis Lake. The lake is now clear. The lake is now clear and teeming with fish and bird life. And for this, I do thank you all. Just speaking of CRDC Global, 3 new plastics recycling drop-off locations are being installed in our partnership with York City Business CRDC Global toward our goal of making York City the first plastic waste-free city in the United States. It is a big goal, but we will be working to make it as easy to participate as possible. So that'll be kicked off in about 2 weeks, I believe, where we'll be announcing the locations and working in that direction. This summer, we look forward to the completion of multiple long-term projects, including the completion of the redesigned George Street. You're welcome for the left turn at Philadelphia Street. Thank you. And the true Golden Spike, connecting the 2 sections of the York County Rail Trail. The King Street Bike Lane project was completed, safely connecting thousands of York City residents and visitors from Penn Street to Tremont Avenue to our business district, the Rapid Transit Bus Terminal, and the York County Rail Trail. I am currently working on a plan. Can I say this, Eric? All right, thanks. I'm currently working on a plan to connect the Broad Street Greenway, so kind of on the south and east side, to connect the Broad Street Greenway Trail to the rail trail through Brooks Robinson Plaza at Wellspan Stadium. Not everything is going that well in York City. You guys know me. I'm not always a cheerleader. Not everything is going that well in York City. We still have young people committing acts of violence, with a surge having occurred last year with 25 homicides. Unfortunately, this is following a trend throughout the United States. Some better news is that we had 2 gun-involved homicides in the entire first quarter of 2023 versus 7 last year. Our group violence intervention program has never been stronger. We have a new project manager. I hope you have all met Tiff Lowe or know of Tiff Lowe or have her come and visit the club, because she is an amazing woman with an amazing story. We have 2 new credible messengers who work with her in the schools and neighborhoods to bring assistance and a message of hope that there is a way out of the violence. Our police force is strong and making great improvements. Under the direction of Police Commissioner Muldrow, the Office of Human Resources successfully held 2 probationary police officer testing sessions. Now, this is the first time that we've done that independently of what's called the consortium of multiple police organizations in the county. So they were all testing together. There's some question whether or not we would be successful if we try to do it ourselves. But this enabled us to add 10 new officers to our force, and before the end of 2022, another 13 new officers for the January 2023 Police Academy. Many of these were diverse candidates. This allowed us to improve our diverse officer percentage from about 9% to over 25% in just the last 2 years. Just a few more things I wanted to add. Our Department of Economic and Community Development has had a very successful 2022. We've assisted dozens of new business owners and investors in bringing their dreams to fruition here in York. 2 rounds of grants have gone out for small business development, with a 3rd round in process, providing over $500,000 in grants. Now, I am humbled. I gotta go off the script here a second. I didn't know Suli was gonna be here. So I am humbled by the work of YCEA that provided about 14 million in grants. Is that about right? I'm sorry, 14 was the first round, right? $30 million in grants. And at least for the first round, every qualifying city business that requested a grant got one, right? All round. So let's hear it for YCEA and their work to support economic development, not only in the city, but throughout the county. The Penn Street Market is at a modern day record for the number of businesses, and may I add, being run and overseen by Michael Black and the Redevelopment Authority. So thank you for all that. We've secured over $4 million in Pennsylvania RACP grants for Penn Market, the Rex Laurel Fire Stations, and for the new City Community Center at the Sylvia Newcomb Center. And thank you, Governor Tom Wolf, for your gifts on the way out. Director, Economic Development and Community Development Director Nona Watson's vision of the Complete Communities Initiative was launched and is already leading to plans for new development in our first targeted community, the Northeast neighborhood. Finally, and this seems like a little bit of a small thing, but if you have a business downtown, if you maybe have the Yorktown downtown, you might understand how important parking is. This last year, the city of York took the ownership of all parking assets from the general authority. There were concerns that we would not control these parking assets in the long run. And may I add that in a recent meeting up in Harrisburg with their redevelopment group that has existed since 1974, they said, "Thank God you did that. That was the smartest thing you did." Because if you've tried to park in Harrisburg lately under their private parking system, you'll notice that the rates seem very reasonable here in New York City after trying to park up there. So this provides control of these assets so that at all times, decisions made to the operations or ownership of parking lots and garages come under the city of York. Parking can be a tricky operation in a city. If it is run completely like a business, it may not take into account the needs of businesses and residents. By placing decisions more directly in the hands of elected officials, we hope to ensure that the parking system always includes the highest public benefit when decisions are made. Since the city took over the system, we continued with the general authority's plans for full automation of the parking garages, decreasing the costs of operations. The city of York continues to face large hurdles towards financial stability. The cost of infrastructure maintenance continues to grow, while the general revenue to the city from property taxes remains the same as it has for over a decade. Out of respect for their dedication and hard work, and in an effort to keep up with inflation and market trends, the city continues to increase the wages of our employees. The looming problem of ever-increasing healthcare costs for our employees continues to put a huge burden on our taxpayers. But we continue to have great hope. We hope that the Pennsylvania legislature and governor will finally remedy the mistake they made over 50 years ago by forcing small municipalities to rely on property tax revenue to run and maintain cities. As has been noted, this is not a sustainable business model. And we continue to make York City a safer place, a better place for everyone. Our downtown is booming and getting better every day. There's more hope in the neighborhoods as unemployment drops and assistance is provided to those that may not have had access before. Our finances are the strongest they have been in at least 30 years. There's a lot to be proud of. There are thousands of great people in York City government and in our community working to make York better. It is these people, it is you, that make me proud to be the mayor of York City. Thank you. I'm only losing one. That's not too bad. But I think there is time for questions now, right? 10. Oh, we got 10 minutes. Oh, hit me. What do we got? No, we didn't cover everything. Tom. Sure. I'm supposed to repeat the question. So you asked me to talk about the Cadoris Creek improvements and my thoughts on that. That is not a city project. That is a YCEA project, and we are grateful for their efforts. I can only speak to what I know. The first improvements that are getting ready to be started, I believe, are going to be in the area of the York College Knowledge Park and the southwestern side. The original plan was to start more in the center of the city. However, the Army Corps of Engineers came back to YCEA, who came back to us and said that improvements in that area, because of the congressionally mandated capacity of that flood control channel. None of you were here for the flood of 33, but maybe 72 scared you. Oh, you were here for 33? But you may have read of or heard stories of the amazing damage that occurred here. So the Cadorus Creek has always been a balance between protecting our community and our people and our assets, and providing recreation for us. And we went too far for protection and not enough for recreation. So YCEA, and again, with a strong push from Governor Wolf, they've been trying to get it back to a place where we can recreate, and it's a major asset to the city. However, again, the downtown work cannot be completed, at least anything downstream of Market Street, until we replace the Market Street Bridge. So that congressionally mandated capacity has to be maintained. To do that, we have to replace the bridge and put it up like 6 inches or something. Now, it needs replaced anyhow. And unfortunately, we just had it assessed. It doesn't quite meet the critical replacement criteria, which would give us a bunch of federal money to get it done. So we're not sure when or how yet it's going to get done, but we're working on grants and things like that. Once we replace the Market Street Bridge, then all the improvements that are kind of the highlight, the real highlight of the project can occur downtown. And at that time, I'm sure that Kevin and others and myself will all be knocking on your doors to see if you can help fund the next stages of the Cadorus project. Thanks, Tom. Thank you. It's humbling to be here right now because you met me with ripped up jeans and a tie-dye, half deep, and waist deep in the Cadorus Creek, yanking things out when Louis Appel and Tom Wolf and others recognized that maybe I could be something. So. Yes, Walt. Yes, I can. Can I give a little bit more information about what's going on in the Northwest Triangle? What I understand right now, and again, this has been more deeply worked through with RDA, but I don't think things are final, right? We have a developer that's ready to develop whatever the needs of the community are. So I believe on Beaver Street, we're talking a retail row with possibly some office and some residential above that. Also kind of back in, they're talking about more residential, I think 300 residential units. Is that right, Michael? Oh, I'm getting a big thumbs up, go higher. Over 300 units residential going in there. The Dream Gem, and I think this is like phase 5 or something. So they're going to see phase 4. I keep getting corrected. You got to have this guy speak. No, didn't you speak to him a little bit ago? Or is that coming up? Okay, we'll get that Michael Black guy up here because he knows a lot about redevelopment in the city. Yeah, phase 4 of the project is potentially a hotel down along the creek and kind of a activity venue. Is that still in the plans? Still in the plans. All right. So yeah, it's amazing. And then also the thing that we haven't talked about yet, Harrisburg University has been showing quite a bit of interest in bringing campus facilities down here into the city, including agricultural centers with Dutch style grow houses and things like that. So in the area of the Northwest Triangle, we're hopeful that that is going to come to fruition. Yes, sir. there are plans, but they move along like a caterpillar. They're like inch by inch. So really, the third-class cities are unlike many other municipalities that you may live in, that have gone to regional police departments or volunteer fire departments or things like that. Third-class cities are mandated to supply the police departments and supply the fire departments. And those over time, whether mandated or just through time, have become full-time employees. No opportunity for very little opportunities. Maybe in the fire department, we have some volunteers that, block the roads and stuff like that. But these are all unionized, and we cannot undo union contracts. So every 3, 4, or 5 years when these contracts come up, we try to negotiate and try to bring down or try to find a way to alter the pensions, and find a way to increase the amount paid by the individual employees for the healthcare. I have voluntarily, just to give you a number, when I came into office, my contribution was 7%, which means the taxpayers paid for myself and my daughter, all of everything but 7%. I think the police department is about 3.5%. I have voluntarily taken my office up to 20% to try and show an example of where we need to go. But that's not the greatest leverage. I'm like, look, I'm doing it. And that's not going to necessarily get the union to give up all those things. And when they do give it up, we have to trade it for more pay anyhow, which ends up increasing their pension. So we try to get more, because healthcare is the fastest growing thing. We try to get some out of them over here. It's very difficult with the legislature mandating what third-class cities have to provide, and then the unions being established, and it is illegal for us to go outside of those unions. So we just keep counting on I will say that the fire department this year really came to us and said, we understand the whole system. We only want 3%, but when my tax base isn't growing 3% every year, when you got a CPI of 8.9 or whatever, and they're only taking 3%, it's like it's a gift, but we're not getting that revenue yet. And without changing the system, there are bills in the House right now to try and change a little bit more towards income tax and not any sales tax yet. But even those things, when the city changes its income tax or its employment tax, that $52 you pay every year, when we increase it and the rest of municipalities do not, then it is a disincentive for businesses to come to the city. So I am going to be the herald that says and continues to blow the horn, even though if it never gets heard, that we need to eliminate the medieval structures of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and eliminate townships and boroughs and everything, and go to what 47 of the other states have, which are counties that are structured so that I, as a city, am not in competition with Spring Garden and York Township and Chansford. It's ridiculous that we are fighting each other over where a business should go. We should all be in this together, but the legislator has made us competitors, and only the legislature can change it. Yes, sir. Yes, but because you said hopeless, I want to say that I am not hopeless on the last question. And that what we have done, and this is a horrible thing, but sometimes when you're at war, for instance, the strategy of the American Revolution was to get the English to get tired of us, to get the parliament to cut the funding, you know? And in this case, by selling the wastewater treatment plant, my strategy was to bring us up to the top of the list of losers instead of at the bottom of the list of losers, which means hopefully from our point of view, more boroughs, townships, and cities will do more poorly so that their senators and representatives will be forced to support them and change this system. And we'll be able to keep treading water until that happens. So, okay. So less hopeless, maintaining parking structures probably even on the hopelessness level. No, I mean, they're expensive prospects, you know, and we have to maintain those structures. So while everybody wants something, and certain things have been provided for free for a very long time, the plan for the general authority from 2017 was to go to 24-hour pay parking. I am not looking to do that right now, as in paying the fees. We may go to a overnight parking fee or something like that, where people would have to pay a relatively small amount relative to paying by the hour. But can you elaborate on your question? Because you have the parking garage across the street and another parking garage, two other parking garages 2 blocks away. So what is it that you're looking for? Be continued. Okay, let's talk after. I'll be around. To be continued. Thank you, everybody.
You may both consider yourselves saved by the bell. Mayor Helfrich, the results that you have been getting for the city and watching it grow have been exciting. And I think your service and results make us all proud to call you mayor. And personally, on your character, it makes me proud to call you a friend. And I would also say that for those of you who don't know, Mayor Helfrich and his team were a great partner, ally, and asset for the Kiwanis Lake project. He lended so many resources for us to get that project done. And I personally wanted to thank you in front of the group. So thank you, Mayor Helfrich. The book Skunk and Badger by Amy Timberlake will be donated to the Early Childhood Development Education Program at the York Jewish Community Center. And yes, Lynn Bergdahl, along with the bookmark created by the ever so clever students at Creative York. Next week, we will welcome Jason Rabin, a graduate student in Drexel University's Accelerated MBA program, where he is concentrating on strategic technology and innovation management, as well as corporate sustainability and social impact. His presentation will focus on the basics of how solar power works, where it started, where it is now. Jason will discuss the exciting direction that renewable energy is headed and how the rise of energy storage technologies will make it even more viable solution for the future. For our closing quote, imagine if Calvin Weary did not just fall off the stage today. Or as Henry David Thoreau wanted to say was, the imagination, give it the least license, dives deeper and soars higher than nature goes. Rotarians, this meeting is adjourned.